Hey guys, it is MissSimReno. If you are returning to the channel, welcome back. And if you are brand new, I am so excited that you decided to join me here today for another speed build. And this is my big spooky build of the year, I suppose. It's not like I do this regularly, but I felt as though I should probably do something else a little bit more Halloween-y, a little bit more spooky and dark, considering I've only done like one spooky and or like dark build on my channel this season, which is kind of sad because I love Halloween, so I probably should have done more. But I asked a few people over my Discord, I was like, what is something I could do for Halloween? I've got like 30 something hours. I think I asked them on like Wednesday or Thursday or something. And I was like, what could I do? And there were so many great ideas, and inspiration struck real hard when someone said Malfoy Manor. I was so excited about this, but I was really worried because I didn't think I was going to be able to do it for this upload today, and I was able to finish it, and I am actually really pleased with the end result. And as you can see, I'm already trying to work out basically the shape of the home, and I will put a reference picture down in the left-hand corner just so you guys can kind of see what I was going off of, because we really don't get to see too much of Malfoy Manor in the movies. And of course, in the books, we only get descriptions. So in the movie, there are basically these big like terraces. I think that's what they're called. Don't really know. Probably going to look it up after this so I don't sound stupid. But basically, there were like 6 terraces on each side. I'm just going to stick with that word because I don't know the right word. And it's just like this huge manor. And there's like some gardens and whatnot in the front, which I did not do only because I wanted to do this in Forgotten Hollow because I just thought it fit perfectly. And this is where Vlad lives. So I destroyed his home. Sorry, Vlad. And I built this instead. However, the lot was not big enough for me to do kind of like the entryway gardens. However, this lot has the gate and everything in the front and kind of the archway, so I thought it kind of worked. But there's like these gardens in the front, and then there are only like maybe 1 or 2 rooms that we even see in Malfoy Manor. And actually, I think it's just 1 room. Yeah, it's just 1 or no, maybe 2 rooms. I don't remember. But we see where they're all at the dining table in the 7th film, maybe the 7th/8. No, I think it's the 7th one. And yeah, we get to see that, and that's where Snape and Voldemort and all of the Death Eaters are at Malfoy Manor, kind of meeting and talking about what they're going to be doing in the coming months and whatnot. And that's actually where they kill someone there, so that's not wonderful. But yeah, so there's like the dining room, and then there's that big, beautiful room, which looks like it's basically just made out of marble, and it has like this really grand fireplace in it, and that is where Bellatrix kills Dobby, which we are not a fan of, and where she tortures Hermione, at least in the movie. I haven't read the 7th book in a long time, so don't quote me on exactly where this happens in the book compared to the movie. I don't freaking know, to be frank. But I basically just tried to recreate Malfoy Manor with as much reference as I possibly could. And on the interior, honestly, with the floor plan, I just had to make it work. Like, I had to do the best that I possibly could, considering we don't really know what the floor plan is. And this build is actually technically 3 stories of livable space, but I didn't do anything on the 3rd story. So I'm going to put that out there right now. I only built on the 1st and 2nd stories, and that was mainly because even though this build is huge, with how I actually sorted out the floor plan, as you can see now because we're on the interior, there was so much open space that there was no comfortable place for me to put another staircase and have it be as grand as the one down here in like basically the entrance of this entire manor. So I just made it 2 stories, and hopefully you guys do like it. And right now you can actually see that I created this huge open space with basically these 2 really grand staircases. And this is where I put the dining table that we see in the film. And I actually do turn it so it's kind of aligned with that fireplace because it looked really awkward this way, like lengthwise. It looked really awkward to me. So I ended up actually turning it, and I was trying to find like rugs and stuff to really bring this whole look together. I used a lot of the vampire game pack, and I used, I think, some spooky stuff, but really not that much now that I think about it. I mean, there's a very healthy combination of packs, which I've been actually getting a lot of questions about, like, can you list what packs you use and what builds? To be honest, I use all of them almost all of the time, and I can't keep track of what packs I use in which builds just because I have like literally almost all of them except for Journey to Batu, and it's so hard to keep track of them. But luckily in the gallery, if you do go to download it, it will give you the little icons of which packs are used. So if you are curious, all of my builds are on the gallery, and you can go over there, and before you download something, you can kind of assess as to what items might be missing, because when you click on those icons in the gallery, depending on like whatever pack it is, it'll show you what items are used, which is actually really, really helpful. I don't think it shows like debug items, which is kind of unfortunate, but I kind of understand that because you have to enable cheats to actually see those debug items. But anyway, hopefully that's helpful to some of you guys. And here is where I decided to turn the table. It just looked so much better with that fireplace at the end, which I actually did size up one. And initially my test sim could not light it with it being that big. So I sized it down, I made them light it, and then I sized it back up and it worked just fine. I mean, granted, the flame doesn't look super great, but it's lit and there's a little bit of a glow to it, and it kind of sort of worked. So that's a little bit of a pain, I'm not gonna lie to you, but I just really, really wanted it because with it being its original size, it was so small, and we don't have a fireplace that is as grand as the one in the movie in Malfoy Manor. So I don't know, I just kind of used some creative liberties, but here I am trying to figure out exactly what's going to be what, because this was actually harder to divvy up a floor plan than I initially thought, because there are just so many little square bump offs everywhere, and those are automatically going to be sectioned into rooms in my head, but I couldn't do that because then a lot of the rooms would just be super small and awkward. So some of them are bathrooms. The kitchen is like a super awkward shape. Lucius Malfoy's office, because I gave him an office, I thought that was totally appropriate, is kind of tiny, and it's actually off of this room here, which is kind of like the sitting room / library, I guess you could say. But yeah, it was really hard. And then there's only 2 bedrooms. There's the master bedroom for Narcissa and Lucius, and then there is the bedroom for Draco, and that's it. I didn't do like guest bedrooms. I didn't build the dungeons. I'll put that out there too. I did not build the dungeons where they hold like Harry, Ron, and Luna and Dobby. Well, they don't hold Dobby, but yeah, I didn't build those either, just because this build was honestly so huge and I was kind of short on time because I wanted to make sure I got it out for Halloween. So hopefully this suffices your expectations for a Malfoy Manor build in The Sims 4, but I don't know, I just tried to be creative, and I tried to make it look as fancy but also as kind of like old, because thinking of Harry Potter or the world of Harry Potter, especially the magical world, they don't have like electricity. I don't think they use electricity. I think they just use like candles and stuff like that. So trying to make sure that this home was well lit with just candles and like sconces and stuff like that was kind of a challenge. But I thought it added to the age of the home, because the Malfoy family is one of the oldest like pure blood wizarding families. So I'm assuming that this manor is not something that they just built. You know, I'm assuming this is where maybe like the Malfoy family has lived for years and years and years, like generation over generation. That was kind of my thought. But now I am working on Lucius Malfoy's little tiny office. So he's got a quill. I wanted to make sure that I put that detail in there. And he also has a potion on his desk, and I strategically used specific potions to actually place throughout this build. I used some that were either like alluring potions, like I think on Narcissa Malfoy's Vanity, she has like an alluring potion, because I don't know, I think that she's actually very narcissistic. I think that's why her name is what it is. I don't really know, but I'm assuming that she like kind of uses those to boost her self-confidence all the time and kind of like lure people into traps, because the Malfoy family is not very nice. And Lucius has some that's like on his desk, I think it clears curses, and then there's some that allow you to like resurrect and stuff like that. I don't know. They're into the dark arts. So I was trying to think of things where they would be potions that let them, I don't know, manipulate other people, or kind of change something about themselves to manipulate other people, if that makes any sense. I don't really know. But now I'm working on the kitchen, which of course we don't get any views to the rest of the home. So I just was really going off of what I thought this might look like in a home like this. So I used a lot of Realm of Magic as well. I should have mentioned that. So there's a lot of Realm of Magic, a lot of the Vampire Game Pack in this build. And I don't know, I really liked the kitchen, even though it's definitely not my style like at all. They have this little tiny table in between, kind of a galley kitchen, which maybe for a home this big they would have a bigger kitchen But again, the floor plan was weird and I just worked with what I had and I thought it still looked good. So I kind of just went with it. But there is a fair amount of clutter in here and I don't know, it still looks pretty homey. I was thinking that a family like the Malfoys would definitely have more servants. And I say servants intentionally because that's always what they say in like the book, because house elves are basically servants, right? So they had Dobby and then he was freed in the second one. But I think that they definitely still have like a staff at a manor like this. So I don't think they're in the kitchen a lot, which is why it didn't really matter if it was this grand. It's not something that they show off to people when they're in the home. But over here, there are also a couple of different cabinets and storage things from Realm of Magic. I used basically all three that we got. And in this one, I actually put a couple of like these weird dead like alien things and like rocks and fossils because again, dark arts, I'm thinking that these are not very kosher. Like these are not very good. These aren't used for good things. And behind these French doors is actually just a couple of storage things. I didn't really know what to put in there, but I knew I wanted it to kind of be like a walk-in pantry type thing, and cluttering it up with very tiny items was not something I wanted to do. So I just put a couple of different like shelving units in there. And then we move on to kind of like the right wing of the manor, and there's a grand piano in here and just a small sitting area. And I don't know if anyone in the Malfoy family actually would play piano. I don't think I've ever heard of anyone in the Wizarding world actually playing an instrument aside from the band The Weird Sisters. And there's a lot of weird instruments. Well, not weird instruments, but it's a very eclectic mix of instruments for their band and their music. So I don't really know what that looks like, but I thought a grand piano would definitely fit in a home like this. I was going to do the organ, but it seemed a little bit too vampire-esque to me. I didn't really want to go that route. If you feel as though it fits them, definitely feel free to place it in here if you download this build. But I just thought a grand piano was, I don't know, a little bit more sophisticated for a family like this. And here I actually created a little sunken platform where I place one of the giant cauldrons from Realm of Magic as well. So this is kind of where they brew like potions and stuff like that. I was thinking of making it a little dueling space, but it's way too small to do that. So I just placed the cauldron and I thought it added, I don't know, a little bit of personality to this room as well, instead of just placing it in the middle of the room on like a carpet. I thought using the tile and kind of like sinking it down into the room was actually kind of a neat idea. So hopefully you guys agree. And then over here is yet again another sitting area. With a home this big, there's a lot of sitting areas because there's only so many activities that you can plop in here, and activities that are appropriate for a build like this, at least in my opinion. And there's also another bookcase in here. That one is from Realm of Magic, so there are probably like tomes and stuff that your Sims can find in there. I was going to place them all over the home. However, there are certain tomes that your Sims can only use if they're at a certain level in like that spellcaster tiering system, like with experience and stuff like that. So if you had Sims in there, they would kind of be useless, so I just didn't feel like placing them. But there are a ton of potions on top of that fireplace as well. And then we move on to the second floor, and I just love this big open balcony. I love it so much. It's huge, like it's unnecessarily huge, but I really do like it. And then these doors are these big grand doors to each bedroom, which I thought was very appropriate for this home. I mean, granted, it's the same door from the front door, but I don't know, I still really liked it. And using those rug pieces that piece together to create one single rug from the Vampire Game Pack was so useful. I wish we had more rugs like that, by the way. I actually really like that, and I use them so much in this build. But the first bedroom that I work on is Lucius and Narcissa's bedroom, and I just thought it was honestly really pretty. I think prettier maybe than their bedroom really would be. I think it would be creepier and a little bit colder, but I really liked it. So I ended up using, again, a lot of stuff from the Vampire Pack. And Narcissa does have a vanity over there. And like I said, I placed a couple of potions, like an alluring potion, and it was like masterful insults or something. I don't know. I just felt like it would really fit her. And then she has a wand box as well on her little vanity. And those are like their brooms. And Lucius's desk, I actually did it off camera, is I placed his wand box and his wand too. And oh no, did I give Draco a wand? I think I did. I think I put one in his bedroom too. I can't remember, but I'm quite certain that I did. And I also only showed one of the bathrooms being built, by the way, because there are 3 or 4 bathrooms in this build, and I literally just copied the rooms over and made adjustments as I saw fit. And that was it, because I couldn't be bothered doing that many bathrooms, like individual bathrooms. It would have been way too much in a home this big. But this ends up being Draco's room, and I just gave him a single bed, and he actually, oddly enough, I think ends up with 2 dressers now that I watched this footage back. But I don't know, I thought it kind of worked. No matter what, I think it kind of worked. Whatever, he's got 2. It's fine. And he has like this little skinny one from Realm of Magic over here, and he has the vampire one over on the other side of the room. And I also pluck out this like hand sculpture because I'm thinking of, I think it was like the Hand of Glory or something in Borgin and Burke's that he really wanted to buy. And yeah, or the one that grabs Harry in the movie. I can't even remember. I just reread the books and I can't remember. But I was thinking that he had that in his room, and that poster I was thinking was like the Quidditch World Cup because it kind of looks like that. And then Draco also has his own desk as well. He's got a quill and like a little open notebook. So granted, he can't write in that notebook. It's just decor, and if you wanted your Sims to use it as an actual desk, you'd have to get rid of it. But I don't know, I thought it kind of looked nice. And I also give him a cauldron, but I size it down and place a potion inside of it and shrink it down so it looks like it's kind of bubbling even when it's not being used. And I don't think your Sim can use it on that desk anyway. But we are actually getting close to the end of the build, so happy Halloween. I hope that you guys enjoyed this build. I had so much fun and I'm so proud of it, and I will catch you guys next time I post a video, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.